Many in the scholarly and political field praise Jeremy Rifkin for the willingness to think big, raise controversial questions, and serve as a social and ethical prophet.
We're on the cusp of a third industrial revolution. We're going to begin to understand the mission of this new communication revolution that we financed in the 1990s. It's going to converge with a new energy regime, hydrogen. You're going to get your fuel cell, and your fuel cell is analogous to a personal computer. In a personal computer, you generate your own content, then you connect it back to the grid, and you share it with 1 billion people. Your fuel cell is analogous to a personal computer, so that when you generate your electricity in your industrial park, your office, your factory, your home, you'll use the electricity, but the surplus you don't need, you're going to send it back to the grid. But the grid's going to have to be decentralized, so they're smart, just like the World Wide Web. That means when you generate electricity, thousands and millions of people in your automobiles, your industrial parks, your homes, you're going to be able to connect so that you can send that electricity peer-to-peer like information. The coming together of the decentralized communication revolution of the 1990s and decentralized distributive generation of hydrogen, you become the power plant. That combination, that convergence, it's the third industrial revolution. The coming together of decentralized communication and hydrogen energy will be as powerful as the coming together of the telegraph, the telephone, the internal combustion engine, and oil, second industrial revolution, multiplier effect, the entire 20th century. This is the cusp. This is the opportunity. This is the challenge. There is a new energy regime right here in front of us, right on the horizon. It's here, ready for us. Hydrogen is the basic element of the universe. It's the lightest element in existence. It never runs out. It's the stuff of the stars. And when we power using hydrogen, there's only 2 byproducts. Pure water, so pure you can drink it, and heat. No CO2. Global warming is the dark side of our existing energy era. It's the entropy bill come due for 200 years of fossil fuel use. We may be seeing a temperature rise of somewhere between 2.5 and 10.5 degrees Fahrenheit in the 21st century. And the reports projected that as we build the CO2, the temperature range changes, and we're going to have more droughts, we're seeing it. More wildfires, we're seeing it. More coastal damage from severe hurricanes, we're seeing it. We have a second problem. The conventional wisdom is that we have about 34 years left of crude oil till we reach peak. Peak is a petrogeology term. Peak is when half your global reserves of oil, either known and yet to be discovered, are used up. Your prices never go down again. It's the top of the bell curve. The optimists say we'll peak in 2030s. The pessimists say we'll peak between 2010 and 2020. Do we really care about a 20-year difference? In geopolitical terms and even market terms, it's irrelevant. What this means is the investment community across this country, you need to become entrepreneurial cartographers. We create a roadmap to a renewable hydrogen future. We got to get beyond oil. So by getting on the map toward a hydrogen future, we radically reduce global warming. We narrow the divide between the haves and have-nots. We close that debt gap. We give everyone a shot at equal access to universal electricity so we can have deep reglobalization from the bottom up. Instead of holding your breath about oil prices for 40 years, we have a new story. We build a new infrastructure. We create a new legacy. This will be the finest contribution you can make to future generations. This will be your moment on your watch to make the 21st century a better century. Our family was raised on the American dream. Catechism, morning, noon, and night. And that dream, stripped to its essentials, is basically this. Regardless of the station to which you're born, if you work hard, get a good education, if you're diligent to the task, you can make a success out of your life in the United States of America. It's the land of opportunity. That dream was robust
for the first 2 centuries of this country's existence. Even in 1960, recall, we were the most middle-class society in the whole world 40 years ago. Unfortunately, in those last 40 years, that American dream has begun to unravel. Meanwhile, there's a powerful new dream emerging in Europe. In many ways, it's the mirror opposite of the American dream, which makes it so interesting and problematic. But it may be a better fit for the kind of globalizing, interdependent world that you young people are going to inherit in the 21st century. We think we have the most powerful economy in the world, correct? We're the envy of the planet. We're the model everybody wants to follow, not just the American dream, but the economy. How about a little reality check here? The European Union, their GDP exceeded ours in 2003. We nipped ahead of them in 2004. We're neck to neck. Does that surprise you? Number 2, the European Union is the largest exporting power in the world today, not the United States. The European Union is the largest internal market in the world today, not the United States. Americans say idle hands are the devil's workshop. If you're not working, you must be lazy. Our European friends say, wait. We should work to live. You Americans get it wrong. You live to work. And so they try to balance work and play. But in other areas, too, their quality of life is better than ours, which is hard for Americans to understand. Healthcare. They live a year longer than we do. They have more doctors per population than we do. Their infant mortality is much lower than ours. Education. We're the best at the university level. They can't touch us. But at elementary and secondary level, they beat our children in math literacy, now in science literacy. They have safe streets. We have 4 times the homicide rate that Europe has. So when you start taking a look at the quality of life issues, I think they more than hold their own. In some ways, they surpass the American dream in terms of a new model. The American dream, I should make something of my life. The European dream, quality of life. And here's the way I lay it out. Inclusivity. No one should fall too far behind between the rich and poor. 2, multicultural diversity. We respect each other's cultures. It's a gift to share. 3, good quality of life for my family and community. Solidarity. 4, sustainable development with the earth. Our fellow creatures, the environment, the earth we live in, it matters. It's our home. 5, social rights and universal human rights are the key social glue. 6, peace and harmony among people. As I travel Europe, east and west, north and south, people nod their heads, say that's what we'd like to be. Now, are they living up to any of this? No, of course not. I could spend hours about all the hypocrisy and the shortfalls and all the reasons they're not living up to any of this. But that's not what is important. Dreams are what you'd like to be. America's never lived up to our dream. Dreams are what we want for the future that's not yet here. What's so interesting to me is that the European dream is so different than the ones we grow up with. I don't know how thick this European dream is. Could fail. There are some aspects of the American dream that we need to salvage that have to be incorporated in the European dream so that we can have a global dream that both Americans and Europeans can abide by. The strength of the American dream is its weakness, that's its individuality. In a frontier, it was good to be an individual. It was good to believe you're on your own. It was good to believe that you have to be self-sufficient because we were out there on the frontier. But in a globally connected world, where we're all vulnerable, it doesn't do so much good to think we're each an island. The idea that we can all, quote, go it alone. Nobody can go it alone in a globally connected world. But the strength of the individualism is personal accountability. Your parents taught you when you were kids, don't you ever blame someone else for your life, correct? Your life is your destiny. You don't ever blame someone else for your life. You can't have a global dream if you're not personally accountable for it. What else do we have that they need? Our sense of hope, optimism, and risk-taking. American young people, you see it all over the world. Optimistic, hopeful, love to take risks. Dreams require hope and optimism. Show me a skeptic or a cynic or a defeatist, and I'll show you someone that can't dream. Show me someone that's afraid to take a risk for the future, and I'll show you someone that can't dream. Visions require hope, optimism, risk-taking, and personal accountability. So my hope is that we have something to learn from the Europeans. Maybe they have something to learn from us.